Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Slang Hope. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how the major split in Islam happened, right? The first major split, which created the groups of the Sunni and the Shia, right? So I'm going to be giving you a little history. So anyway, it all started during the rulership of the third rightly guided Khalifa, which was Uthman bin Affan, right? And during his rule, and there came a group of people who started to conspire against him, right? And they started to say things about that he was showing favoritism. They were starting to say that he was appointing like his own family members into leadership, and they tried to say he was stealing money. So there was this whole big thing that these people were kind of like conspiring, right? And the group of these people came from like Khurasan, which was a region around like Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, somewhere out there in that region, right? And they started saying these things. They started making these claims, and of course he defended the claims, right? He said, like, before I came to Islam, I had money, right? Like I was rich, and I used my money to kind of like contribute and to donate to Islam. So he always had money. So for him to be stealing it, it doesn't even really make sense because he had money, right? And he used his money to kind of like help Islam grow, and expeditions and war. So he always was very generous. If you read about this companion, so they were trying to say he was appointed, he was showing favoritism. And Uthman, he came from Banu Umayyah, which was this tribe, this Arab tribe, right? Which later on they became the Umayyad dynasty, the Umayyad Caliphate, which kind of like ruled the Muslim world, and they was the ones that kind of like went into Spain, right? So anyway, Uthman was from Banu Umayyah, and Uthman, there was a guy named Muawiyah. Muawiyah was his relative, right? And Muawiyah was the son of Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan was a man that fought against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when they had the battle of Badr and Uhud, right? But then later on, Abu Sufyan became a Muslim. A lot of the Arabs that kind of like fought against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Khalid bin al-Walid, right? Amr bin al-As. A lot of these people became Muslims. So anyway, when Muawiyah was president, because he was the governor of Syria, of Damascus, right? At the time when Uthman was the ruler, he told him, when he heard the claims that these people were making, he told Uthman, these people are conspiring against you. Like, let me protect you. Let me take you from here, which the seat of power was Medina, right? This was the capital of the Muslim state for a long time. And he said, let me take you to Damascus. He said, where the people of Damascus will love you and you will be protected because these people are conspiring against you. And Uthman said, no, like, I don't have no right leaving the city of the messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he kept telling him, like, yo, these people are clearly conspiring against you. They're plotting against you, and you're not safe here. So he said, at least let me leave an army behind so that they will protect you. And Uthman said, he recited this verse in the Quran that says, is this verse in the Quran that speaks about basically the people have gathered up against you, but it only increased them in faith. And, so he basically didn't want to leave, and he wasn't afraid, right? So anyway, long story short, Muawiyah left. He went back to Damascus. Uthman ended up getting killed, right? He was assassinated as he was reading his Quran. This Quran actually resides today in Turkey, right, with the blood of Uthman. It's in a museum, I believe. So they still have the Quran, right? So anyway, Uthman got killed, and then the next person who was given the leadership was Ali bin Abi Talib, right? Ibn Abi Talib. But the problem was this: Muawiyah was the relative of Uthman. So Muawiyah came back from Damascus. He came back to claim the blood. So in Islam, there's this thing: when somebody kills your relative, you can either claim the blood money, or you can seek retribution, meaning kill the people who killed you. So mind you, when they laid siege, right, because the people came armed and they laid the siege to Uthman's house, Ali sent his sons to kind of like go protect him. So Ali didn't really have nothing to do with it. But anyway, when Muawiyah arrived, Uthman was already dead, and he asked who were the killers. So now there's two different things that are being said. Some people saying that Ali said those are the killers, but the thing is, they wanted to consolidate the leadership. So some people gave the pledge to Ali to become the next ruler. Muawiyah never gave him the pledge because Muawiyah said, let's take care of the killers first, and then I will give you the pledge. Some reports say that Ali said, no, give me the pledge first, and then we will get the killers, right? So that was kind of like the dispute. So Shia is like supporter, right? So the Shia became the supporters of Ali, and then like Muawiyah had his own supporters because he was like, I'm not giving you the pledge. So this is how like the Muslim world became divided, right? It was during the reign of Ali, when Ali was trying to take the pledge from the people, and Muawiyah was like, I'm not giving it to you because I want the killers. So in some reports it says that Muawiyah felt like Ali didn't. Some reports say that Ali wasn't trying to point out the killers, and Muawiyah held a grudge against him because Uthman was his relative and he had the right to seek retribution. So we don't know. I don't really know. We don't really know what happened. Some reports say that Ali said, those are the killers. Give me the pledge. We'll go after them together. Muawiyah was like, no, like that's not how we do. I'm not giving you the pledge. So Muawiyah and Ali got into a conflict, and then they kind of like fought against each other. So this was like the major split. Ali also, he changed the capital of the Islamic State from Medina to a place called Kufa in Iraq. He lost a lot of supporters because of this, because a lot of people felt like he should never change the capital, especially, you know, this was the town of the messenger. This was the Medina was the place that supported the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when Ali changed the capital, he lost a lot of support from a lot of people for that. And he couldn't really consolidate. He didn't have the tranquility to even lead, right? To even do anything for the Muslim world, because it was a lot of battles going on. There was a lot of wars. It was a lot of things going on between the companions. Muawiyah never gave him the pledge. And what happened was, after Ali passed away, Al-Hassan, which was one of the Ali's sons, right? People were trying to give him the pledge after he passed away, and then Muawiyah didn't want to give him the pledge. So Muawiyah, you know, they had like a discrepancy, and Muawiyah, so Hassan agreed to give Muawiyah the pledge to become Khalifa, and with the condition that after Muawiyah passed away, that Al-Hassan will become the Khalifa, right? So what happened was, in the midst of all of this, before Muawiyah, you know, passed away or whatever, wasn't the Khalifa anymore, Al-Hassan passed away. So people expected Hussein, which was another son of Ali, to get the pledge, right? To get the pledge to become the Khalifa. But that was never the agreement. The agreement was, after Muawiyah, Al-Hassan will become the Khalifa. But since he passed away, people assumed that it should go to Ali's other son. And that created another issue, because now when Muawiyah passed away, his son became... So Muawiyah was one of the first kings, right? There's also a narration that Muawiyah said, that it was narrated, because Muawiyah was a companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he said that the moment that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him one time, when you become king, make sure you become a just king. So he said that he knew he will come into power and he will be a king, right? So yeah, and they saying this is when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he also said that there will be 4 rightly guided Khalifas, and after them, it will be a lot of kings that will come. So, you know, so Muawiyah, they're saying he was like the first king, right? And then after that, his son became Yazid bin Muawiyah, became the Khalifa or the ruler, and his son, you know, got into beef with Ali's son Al-Hussein, and then, you know, there was a massacre that happened where they killed Hussein, and so it was a lot of stuff that happened. And then, but the major split was between Ali and Muawiyah, when Muawiyah didn't want to give him the pledge, and Shia literally means supporter, right, or sect. So this is the people who became the supporters of Ali, and from then they just been freestyling and they just been adding stuff. Some of them have even come up with things saying that like the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was never supposed to receive revelation, that it was supposed to be Ali. Like they be saying that the angel Jibril made a mistake. Like these people have gone to the furthest extents to kind of like make up a lot of things. But yeah, that was the biggest major split in Islam. that the Muslims have never really been able to recover from, even though the Muslim world still became united after this whole conflict, and this whole issue. But this was like the first major big split in the history of Islam. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't want to make this video too long. But hopefully y'all enjoy it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.